This is Torrance Davis with the Bit Bag. I'm at the EA event with Jonathan Knight, and we're here to talk about Dante's Inferno. Tell us a little bit about the game.
The game's a big, crazy, intense action-adventure. It's set in hell. It's basically a loose adaptation of part one of the Divine Comedy, which is this incredible 700-year-old Italian epic poem about one guy's journey through the afterlife. And we sort of took that, and the description of hell in the poem is so vivid and real that it just sort of like laid out like a level-based video game. The 9 circles of hell, and you basically fight your way through trying to save a beautiful woman.
Now, I see a lot of parallels with some other games out there, Ninja Gaiden, God of War, but you guys look like you're really taking it to the next level. And what did it take to come out with a game like this that's challenging a lot of the other games that are out there?
Well, I mean, I think it took basically a lot of passion and determination and a lot of talent. I mean, when I started this project, I knew that it was like a big idea and it was going to be, hard to do, so started putting together a team of really talented people. Early on, we hired in Wayne Barlow to do some concepts for us. He's a crazy visual artist that designed creatures for the Hellboy movies and Harry Potter, and then we brought in. I got the guy who designed some of the God of War levels. He came in as our lead level designer. We've got an Oscar-nominated screenwriter, Will Rokas, who wrote Monsters Ball. He came in and really helped us with the plot. And then the team that's making the game is at Visceral Games. They made Dead Space last year, which is an awesome game, just beautiful and polished. And so, we use that technology. We've used that production team, and a lot of the people that worked on that are working on this. And just that's the number one thing is you got to have the talent and the passion. And beyond that, it's a great idea. I think it's like really resonates with people. It's a great high concept. It's a great fantasy. It's a great fiction. To like break open the gates of hell and go after a girl. So yeah, we're having fun.
Now, how long do you think it'll take to beat the game once it's completed?
Well, it kind of depends on what skill level of gamer you are. It's definitely a big game. It does not feel too short at all. So there's 9 big circles of hell with lots of variety and platforming and combat, action, bosses, sub-bosses, tons of cinematics. We will have additional modes that unlock after the game's done. There's kind of 2 ways to play, either as like a crazy holy warrior with holy power, or as a sort of unholy, brutal, punishing warrior. And so we think people will probably go back and try the different tactics in the combat. So there's a lot of game there for sure.
Is there a lot of different combos that you can do and weapons you can use and stuff like that?
Yeah, well, you'll start out with this halberd, which you quickly upgrade to a scythe, which you steal from death. You also have the cross, which is more of like a ranged weapon. And then from there, you start to either purchase or find magic abilities that are either holy and unholy. And there's a bunch of those, and you can remap them to the buttons, and you can upgrade those. You can upgrade the scythe and the cross and unlock all kinds of new abilities. It's a pretty big upgrade tree, and it's pretty open-ended, so there's plenty to do in the game. And we've also got relics, which are like these secret things you can find, and you can equip them to change your character this way or that way. So it's pretty robust.
Now, the big theme I noticed at E3 last year was huge bosses. And I saw a huge boss here in the demo. Are there a lot of bosses that size? Are there bigger ones?
Well, I don't want to give away all the bosses. We've shown a few of them. The, big, giant, epic scale characters go really well with hell and also with this kind of game, and it's just a cool fantasy to take down a character that big. What we've tried to do with some of our bosses, like King Minos and Cleopatra, is really make them really believable and real and have their physiology and their bodies look like human, So Cleopatra is this giant, naked monster, and she looks really good and really real. So, I think in our game, the difference is going to be just that level of, like, personality and humanity, and the animation. They really feel like giant people, which is cool.
Now, in the demo, I saw a lot of titillation. Are we going to see more of that throughout the game?
Yeah, I mean, the game is definitely not for kids. It's got a lot of adult themes. There's, hell is like a pretty crazy place, and we've got levels like lust, and which is the theme of that whole level. So there's a fair amount of, like nudity and stuff. And I don't know what it is about like medieval paintings of hell, but like everybody's naked, and so we just went with that.
So the ESRB is going to throw the book at you.
Well, we will obviously work with them, and we'll be within guidelines, and all the descriptors will be called out, but definitely not a game for kids.
Just don't let Fox News see it, because they don't know what they're talking about. Okay, another question. Downloadable content. Is it possible?
It's absolutely possible. I can't, unfortunately, confirm anything today for you. We're just focused on the base game, but there's a lot of possibilities, and I certainly would love to do that. And so we'll just have to see where we get to.
Between consoles, PlayStation 3, 360, you got parity, 60 frames a second on both consoles.
Absolutely. I get a build every day of the 360 and the PS3. It looks great on both. And I'm glad you mentioned 60 frames per second because it's like really, really important to me and to the team. We worked really hard to maintain that frame rate, and it just gives this amazing, silky, smooth feel to the game. And it's very fast-paced and responsive, so it deserves that. And not all the games in the genre are getting there on this generation of consoles, so we're pretty proud of it, and it makes a big difference.
Now, the soundtrack is gorgeous. Who did the soundtrack?
So the soundtrack is being done by two composers, Gary Scheinman, who composed the soundtrack to BioShock, and he's got a long list of credits and awards to his name. He's an amazing composer. And also Paul Gorman, who's our internal audio director and composer, who's composed a bunch of the score as well, and he's incredibly talented, and they've just made an amazing team.
Now, the game comes out in February?
February 9th, 2010.
You guys are killing us. There's too many games coming out next year. Okay, one last question. What does next generation gaming mean to you?
Next generation game means to me, it means like high definition, crazy fantasies of stuff that you can't do in the real world that you get to do in your big screen TV at home. I love the concept of this game because nobody ever gets to go to hell and come back and tell the tale. So here's a chance to imagine that medieval vision, that Dante Alighieri vision of hell and descending all the way down to the center of the earth to face off Lucifer and killing demons and rescuing a beautiful woman. And I think high-def gaming just brings those crazy fantasies into the home, and it's a lot of fun.
All right, thank you for the interview. I wish you the best of success with the game. All right?
Thank you.
This is Torrance Davis at EA, and we'll be back for more.